Today is going to be a really special show because I'm joined by two lovely people. Holly Kitchens. What's going on, Holly?
What's up? What's up? Super excited about our special show topic today.
Yeah, so am I. We're bringing on the founder of Agents Against Child Trafficking and close personal friend, Nikki Gregory. What's going on, Nikki?
How are you guys? Good to see you.
Good to see you, girl.
I've been missing y'all.
I know. Look how great you look. Like, let's just talk real quick about your hair, your outfit. My gosh, I'm like underdressed over here.
Thank you. You're sweet. I'll come on here more often.
Yeah, Nikki, you're setting the bar, and I'll tell you what, when you said you were getting ready for the live, you're like, is this a Zoom or a live? So you definitely brought it for us. But like I said in the post, you know, this is something that we can't ignore. And I really want Nikki to kind of explain Agents Against Child Trafficking. How did this start and what exactly is
it? Okay. So Agents, we call it Agents Act, Agents Against Child Trafficking, and it's the first agent-led initiative to fight child trafficking specifically. And it's just something that we decided to put together a couple years ago and see what we could come up with, where we wanted to put an army of agents together to fight this epidemic. And that's what we've been doing.
Super exciting. And, you know, Nikki has really been like the boots on the ground. I know we all every first of the year, we all go through our New Year's resolution. And one of them is always going to be like giving back, contributing in some way, some form. But Nikki really took it upon herself to actually like create this nonprofit so that people like us who want to get involved in things like this, but aren't exactly at the capacity to start something. So shout out to you, Nikki, for really being the forefront and, you know, trailblazing the whole entire pathway for us to be able to contribute as real estate agents or, you know, as business owners or whoever really can contribute to this cause. And it's just, I know it's something that's near and dear to everyone's heart. I mean, whether you have kids or not, you obviously have a heart for children, especially when they have no saying in the treatment that's done to them. It's so sad. I literally breaks my heart. And yeah, I'm just grateful for you to do it all and put it all together.
I'm grateful for you guys because you've done a lot too. You guys have helped a lot. You're helping spread the word. You've helped me build tools and systems. And I mean, we have an incredible team of people. I'm super appreciative for it.
And I'm grateful that it's also always growing, and we'll get on how everyone can join that team and get on the board of helping get on, you know, the train of Agents Act. But first, before we do that, I would love for you to kind of dive a little bit deeper into like the journey of this, because this definitely wasn't an overnight process for you to create.
Right.
It's always hard to know exactly where to start because there's several starting points. But, you know, several years ago, I started just by personally donating, as you know, the little amounts that I could out of each of my closings. I coordinated with the title company at the time to do that. And I just kept wanting to find a bigger, better way to do it. And we've talked about before that one of my coaches at the time always taught me, if you want to build something or do something big, don't ask how or when or what or why, you're asking who. So always find your who's. And so that's what I did. I went on a journey to look for what I call as my who's. And so that, you know, fast forward till I went to a mastermind event that Nick has brought up a few times.
He was.
Both of you were there. And I think you guys remember that, just that room and the dynamic that was in that room, and just this overwhelming sense of, number one, like I'm not doing enough. And number two, I'm in a room full of people that we could, you know, put all this together and do something so much bigger than ourselves. And we all just started everyone was just dreaming about their individual, you know, really just our purpose of why we're not just in business, but why am I here on the planet? And I remember thinking when I went into that room that I was in the wrong room. Like that was such a incredible room of people that we've had the opportunity to be in that group several times now. But it went from, I'm in the wrong room of people to, oh my God, I'm in the room of my who's. I found them. This is them. And so I just kind of just started to verbalize, you know, this, if there's anything that I could do with my business, it would be, if there was anything in the world that I could change, that I would want to change, it would be to try to make a dent in the child trafficking problem. That's what my, what my heart and business is for. And so I barely mentioned it. And really, I didn't say that much. I just kind of said a little bit, and I knew I had a vision, but I didn't know how to get from point A to point B at all. Like, even I didn't know what that would take to do something really big. And then, several of the people in that group, just for the next 2 days, were coming up to me one after another. And, Nick, you were one of them. And you said, I don't know, I want to do this. I'm all in. We also, during that was whenever we were talking about burn the boats, all in, all of this stuff that we learned there. And so we were all kind of like, man, we can actually change the world. We could actually we all put our heads together, and we decide, and we find our who's, and we build a team that can do these things. And we just overnight kind of built a team. And then from there, with all the right people in the right roles, it was really incredible. It just kind of, we were able to do some crazy things. We went to Thailand just within a few months of that, filmed documentary footage. So we have tons of footage because we couldn't find any footage. Honestly, we could not find good footage of what it was we really wanted to show people, that I think is kind of hidden and people don't want to talk about. So we decided to go there and do that. And within 6 months, because of the people that really rallied around, we were able to get up and actually have this up and running within 6 months. Our goal was to have it by the next mastermind group, and it was not easy. And we worked around the clock.
Right.
This team of people did great. Amazing things. And it just happened. We were able to do it. And so now, thanks. I have to say tons of thanks to Nick. And we have a lot happened in that 6 months, and we have it put together to where it's really automated and easy to allow or to let agents come in now, and they can be part of it and they can take ownership because of what was built in 6 months. Now it makes it easy for them to do that. And I think Nick is really good at explaining how all that works.
Yeah, and just really quick, you don't have to be a real estate agent to join this cause. You can go to agentsact.com. If you are an agent, you can join our ambassador program, and we can get into more details at another time. But, this is why we always say who you surround yourself with matters. That room was absolutely electric. That's the real reason when we looked at something like child trafficking, we're like, yeah, we could take that on, because we were surrounded by so many great people inspiring us. So, child trafficking, talk to us a little bit, Nikki, about what is Agents Act actually doing to fight child trafficking?
So Agents Act, I like to look at things as who, like I said, the who's, and what role should that who be in? And we took on the role specifically, I have small children, I run a business here. I cannot move over to Thailand and, go snatch kids from the bad guys and take care of them and raise them. But there are people who have figured out how to do that at a very high level. And so when I spoke to them and when I talked to them, the thing they needed the most was obviously funds. And one of the biggest things they need funds for is housing. They have, in this location that we really targeted, there's 65 kids a day that are trafficked by that one area, but they don't have anywhere to put them. So they have help. They can get a huge majority of these kids. They just don't have anywhere to house them or put them. And so we took on the role, Agents Act we took on the role to spread the word so that we could raise the funds that are needed to build the homes, and not just build homes, and then past that, you have to run the homes. So there's the utilities and food and education and medical and all of those things. But our role is we felt that we had the right connections to put together the fundraising role of that, and to see what we could do to help.
What I love about everything that you put together, Nikki, it's like, it's not only just, putting it to some cause, obviously, child trafficking is absolutely devastating and heartbreaking, but you actually did the research. You guys got on an airplane, traveled to Thailand, and not just to go vacation in Thailand to see all the glitz and glam. You guys actually were in the trenches where your life was literally in danger because you guys were going there and videotaping, which is a huge no-no. And I would just love if you don't mind sharing just a little bit of what you experienced so that people listening in can kind of get a glimpse of to what you guys saw there in person.
So we came back saying over and over, we saw things that we wish we could unsee. That was just something I kept hearing everyone on our team saying. I wish I really, you know, we put ourselves in that position purposely because we started noticing when we took this on that so many we would be talking to people about it, and I realized nobody really knew a lot about what's really going on over there. And then we said, okay, why is that? Well, it's because there's not footage. People aren't, you know, going in front of groups of people and playing actual footage of what's happening. And so we kept looking for it, and then we realized it's not really out there. There's not a lot. So we're going to have to do this ourselves. How do we do that? And how do we do it quickly? So we went over, and I'll be honest, we were not emotionally prepared because we were so really just in our heads about the logistics of getting there, getting footage. We had to run as fast and as hard as we could. I think we were only on the ground like 4 days. So we had jet lag and we were opposite time zone from where we're at now. And then trying to get that footage and stay awake and then get back on a plane and get back here. And we had a very short window because tsunami season was coming in. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, we got it all done, but emotionally, we were not prepared for what we saw. We did visit several hotspot areas. The biggest couple that I usually talk about, we went to a few, but we went to the Burmese border, which is called No Man's Land, and that is, you know, there's no law there. You can buy a child in that area at any age. We were walking, we had men and women with us, and as we're walking, they'll come up and offer these children to men as they're walking by. In that area, we stood across a river where they have what they call long boats that are taking mostly American and European men across this river to these child brothels. So we stood there, and there's not a lot of words that I can use to describe the feeling. It's just that it was absolute darkness. It just feels like darkness and just pure evil surrounding you in areas like that. And you're looking, and I say across a river, it's kind of like the size of a freeway, okay? And so you're looking straight at a child brothel, like right across the distance of a freeway, and knowing, you know, there's children. One of them that we stood in front of, it was like mostly little girls in that one, 8, 9, 10 years old. And you're just sitting watching the men go across and come back, and go across and come back all day, just one boat right after the other. And then from there, we did go visit the city dump, and that was a very, it was like a hotbed for child trafficking. And there, what was happening was the parents, instead of, you know, people were coming in and offering to buy their children and saying, I'll take them to the United States, I'll give them a better education. And they were believing it. Then they started figuring out what's happening, but instead of, then the bad part is they're figuring out, well, then I need to keep them here and I need to traffic them myself, because then that keeps the money coming over and over and over again into the family. And so, you know, obviously that's disturbing. And the good thing about that area was they've cleaned it up. The people that we work with have gone in and they've done they wanted to show us there what is possible when they do have help. So they went in and they were able to make it where it went from, I mean, it's gone down to like 0 child trafficking in that area. These people are extremely impoverished. They had no other way to bring money into that area. And so that's what they did, is they went in and they started educating and helping them figure out how to do other things for a living other than sell their children. And then the third big area that we went into that was disturbing is the red light district. And that's where it's a little dangerous. You were not supposed to take cameras in there. We had to hide cameras, and we had to go basically undercover and film as we walked through, pretending that we were tourists and that we were there to die. And so we couldn't, it was very difficult to get footage of much besides just trying to walk through and just get some just basic footage here and there. But we did kind of get ran off. They caught on to us, and we had some people run us off eventually from there. So anyway, that leaving there, we saw boys and girls both dressed up basically as prostitutes. And I would say the age there went down to probably, it's hard to tell, but maybe 14, 15. But these are the kids that are standing out in front of the brothels. And so, but they'll hand you a menu of any age child that's inside the brothel. And so there again, you can buy any age. And then there's another street there we didn't know existed. After we filmed and we got back to the van, they asked if we wanted to go to this other street where it's small and younger age children. And by the time that they asked us that, we were also sick to our stomach from what we had just seen and witnessed. We couldn't emotionally even handle. Everyone in the van said, no, we can't do it. We just can't. And we would have to prepare ourselves a lot more mentally before we come to be able to handle that. So it was, again, wish we could unsee that, but at the same time, we went and we kind of saturated ourselves in that environment so that it would affect us so much that it would propel us to come back and tell the stories of things that we saw and not give up just because it's hard to do, and it worked. That plan worked. So.
And I wanted you to really share that because every time, and I've heard you describe your trip so many times, and every time I get sick to my stomach thinking about that. I mean, Zane in the other room is 9. Zach, my oldest son's 14. So it's I couldn't imagine them being in anywhere near that position. So just absolutely makes me sick to my stomach. So, obviously everyone tuning in, you guys have heard Nikki's story that she just briefly shared. I mean, 4 days, could you imagine what you see? But let alone imagine that's your life. You wake up and you're that child. You wake up and you're that teenager, whatever the case may be. So this is exactly why we're taking a part on Agents Act, and just again grateful that Nikki took it upon herself to really forefront and run everything so that we can easily just donate to the cause. And for those tuning in, I would highly recommend you guys go to agentsact.com and watch the video on there. You guys, that's where the documentary is featured, and definitely get the tissues. It's absolutely disturbing, but it's a great, you see some of the footage that Nikki was talking about when they went over there, because it's devastating, but it's enough to make you take action 100%. So after going through all that, well, so talking
really
about
quick,
that.
I want to give a shout out to Rick Messer for just joining the fight against child trafficking. Thank you, Rick. Way to take action, get started as one of our newest ambassadors. And like Holly said, just go to agentsact.com. You don't have to be a real estate agent to join this. But I think on that note, so he was saying that there's a monthly cost, there's a monthly donation involved. So talk to us, Nikki, a little bit about what does that monthly donation go to?
Okay, so the monthly donation are you talking about the one for real estate agents, real estate industry?
Yeah.
So that one we've set up, it's basically a white label. So one of the things we noticed at that mastermind and the next one is we had a lot of realtors say, man, I want to do something big. I wish I could have my own charity. I've always wanted to start a charity. And then we started asking questions. The more questions we asked, we started realizing how, I had 2 agents specifically say, I want to do that, but it's I have to take, when they tell you on the plane, put the mask on your own face first, and then worry about everyone else. Right now, they're saying I'm building this, company, and I have to worry about this and my family. And then as soon as it gets big enough, then I'll be able to do that. So we started really brainstorming, what is a way that we can do this where they can use it as a white label charity. They can take ownership. They can represent it, with everything within their company and their community. to step up and be like a community champion in their area and get the, instead of that being like a long-term goal 10 years from now, 5 years from now, how do we make it happen now for these agents? Because then it's a win-win. We're helping these kids, but we're also helping these agents to accomplish this without them having to go figure out how to do it. And then what's the best cause, like to us, what is the best cause that we could put together that makes them feel like they're really doing something to make a big difference? And then also, how do we vet the people that we're sending those funds to, so that these agents feel confident that they're representing a good cause, because we've done the footwork and the research to make sure that it is going to actual boots on the ground people that are changing things. And so what we did, that's what we created, is this monthly donation. If you do it as a monthly donation, you can basically plug into this white label system that we put together, and you can represent Agents Act in your community. That can be your cause. Nick can talk more about what all that includes, but you get the rights to use, that as your charity, like personally in your community. I don't know if there's more to add to that. There probably is.
I know Nick has done a fantastic job too of setting everything up, and it's funny, Nikki said that buzzword, community champ, and definitely that. So you guys make sure if you're able to, even if you're not able to subscribe to them monthly, I mean, anything obviously does an impact. And one thing too, I want to make sure we hit on is not only is Agents going in and rescuing these babies, these children, these teens, but it's also taking them and rehabilitation too, because you got to think, after you take a child in, then what? Then you got people expensive. You got medical. You've got food. You got, like Nikki said, utilities, housing, and then you also have to have people to be able to help them. So it's not only just rescuing. I think rescuing that's when it starts.
Right.
It's rehabilitation, and it's continuing it so that the cycle breaks. Like, it's not just these people grow up to be adults and then they turn around and do it again to their own children because that's all they know. It's taking them and educating them and letting them know there's other ways to live life, and that's absolutely not the way. So that's a huge thing too when it comes to Agents Act, is it's all about the rehabilitation and then really truly changing those children's life.
And the cool thing is too, we mention this every once in a while, but it really is a cool thing. The people that we work with and the people we partner with, they really feel like it's necessary, that if they're going to change the way that a culture is in an area, they bring those kids in that are that they actually saved from that situation, and they start to train them up to be the people that champion for those other children. Awesome. and that they give them the tools and the education they teach them how to speak in front of crowds and how to really get the word out and talk about their story, so that they believe that the people that are really going to change this long term are going to be the people that were victims of it. So I've always loved that that's something I can really, really get behind and helping with.
So also too, talking about ways that you guys can help. Obviously it's one-to-one. So it's you guys coming in and being able to subscribe. It's you guys coming in and telling your other fellow real estate agents and colleagues about this. But then also too, this is a huge an opportunity, because I know, like, right now with pandemic going on, our events, we're seeing a lot more virtual events versus just in-person events. So the opportunity right now to share this messaging is so much greater and grand than one-to-one. We can totally do this to one-to-many, one to masses, or masses to masses. Meaning that if you guys are listening in and you are, even if it's a lunch and learn, there's no group too small to share this with. So if you guys are able to take part and share in, definitely connect with Nikki, connect with myself, connect with Nick, connect with anybody that you know within the Agents Act community. And we'd be more than happy to give you guys like a media box, if you will, of the video, all assets that you need, the logos, all that stuff, because, the more people we get this out to, the more people will be able to reach and help give back.
Yeah, I love that idea. I think that's a great way for us to move forward this year. And I think it really could help us propel this big time. I know in Clubhouse that really we've had a lot of interest from house
Right.
interviews. So I think between these virtual events and Clubhouse, man, we can do some big things this year.
I mean, if you guys think about it, like, you know, going in and doing a live or your email signature, wherever you can, put just the logo, put something that links back to the website. People are going to be curious as to what that is, and they're going to click on it. It's just human nature. So anything you can do, any kind of, you know, connecting you do, definitely make sure to keep that in the forefront and keep that in mind, because like I said, you know, as we grow digitally, we can also digitally share our cause as well.
Yeah, every little bit really does help. And again, guys, go to agentsact.com. You don't have to be an agent to sign up and get started with this, to fight child trafficking with us. Nikki, do you have anything to leave us off with?
I just want to say thank you to both of you. You know, just thank you. You guys have both done a lot of work. You're helping me spread the word everywhere. You guys are doing an incredible job. Holly, thank you so much. I like the ideas that you're coming up with right now. I'm pretty excited about that too. So.
I can't wait till we execute those ideas.
I know.
Be real.
I love it, guys. Hey, tune in next week for the Holly and Krem Show. Nikki, thank you so much for coming on. And remember, guys, agentsact.com. We'll see you guys.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks. Nope, we lose Nick. He said bye, peace out.
I kind of got tickled a little bit because I had 3 kids losing their shit back there.
Oh. You could not even tell. You did a great job. You're all.
I might disappear and come right back.
I'm gonna hit up Nick and see if he's hopping back on.
Okay.
So let's talk about let's see here, maybe hopping back on. So virtual events. So like, what assets are needed? I'm thinking obviously if we can create like a Google Drive or even just a landing page where it's like, okay, click here to download the video, click here to, you know, here's a flyer, or here's what, you know, here's the call to action. What's your thoughts on all of that?
I think if we ask them, they're going to say like, the easiest way to do anything and everything is just to get them to that video.
Yeah.
As soon as somebody gets to the website and that video, which is why we set it up the way we did, they just sign up. So if we need anything additional to that, so I'm the kind of person, I'm like, what if we add this or do this? And they're always like, no, keep it simple, keep it simple. And I'm glad that they've done that because it's actually working. I tend to get distracted on rabbit trails of other things that I think we need. I think I want to ask them that is what I'm saying, so that we don't muddy any waters or make it more complicated.
I'm just thinking like, okay, so if I was to sit there and say, okay, I'm going to go speak at EXPCon and my opportunity is I want to plug this in. So what assets would I need? Really, I would just need that video. So maybe making it a, almost like a press kit where it's, okay, so here's the logos in case if they want to put a logo like on a slideshow or whatever.
Yep.
So press kit of a logo, press kit of the video to be able to download it, because we can do play or download. And the reason why I say download is because like if you go into a large event and there's no Wi-Fi, like they'll obviously have to upload the video into a computer before. So, you know, the logos, the videos, and then, you know, just like little snippets that we can just rip from the website just to put on there as like as information. But I mean, other than that, and then also maybe breaking down too, it's like, okay, so how can you get involved? You can go to agentsact.com and become an ambassador. Is there a link to, and I just need to check this out.
Yeah, if you go to agentsact.com, I think almost all the questions you're saying, like, so like the different packages or whatever, it's not really a package, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all lined out on the website.
So there's giving, okay, your donation.
And the reason for that, we tested out a lot of different things to see what works. So that's why people ask me and I don't answer, because we've done so many different ones that they're testing them for me. I never even know which one we ended up with, to be honest.
Perfect. So this has actually been updated since last time I looked at it, because last time I looked at it, I think it was just like an ambassador. But yeah, now that I see like the public, there's one-time gift or there's a monthly automatic subscription. So perfect.
And
yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's just, hey, if you want to speak or if you want to share it, here's a video, here's the logos. Any questions, refer them to whatever email address you want to send them to. Just in case somebody else wants to get involved or, in another capacity. But I think that would be perfect. So maybe.
Let me tell you one thing that's happening, even from Clubhouse. I'm just getting people over and over saying, I'm interested, but we can't keep up. So it's like, we only have there's only really me answering those. And then maybe my admin. We don't have a lot of staff, or we're trying to, we need to keep everything as lean as possible because we don't want to pay people to really do anything because other than just content cards, because we're trying to keep all the money going to the kids. So that's why our message constantly, anytime, I'm just we try to drill agentsac.com, and because so if somebody is asking me questions, whatever, the answer just needs to be agentsac.com. Just go there. Everything's there. And it's very user-friendly and very self-explanatory. So,
Yeah, you guys done a fantastic job on it. It looks, literally it's donated there.
Yeah, like if somebody wants to donate one time or whatever, it's all there. The only thing that I can think of that might happen outside of that is like if they wanted to invite us to speak at an event or come to an event, we haven't really put together a way to do that, and that was just about to happen, but then COVID happened, so we didn't feel like that was pressing right now. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, it's just the website, and it's been working pretty well. I still just have people that want to ask a ton of questions, but it's really every question that I can think of to be answered the answers are on the website.
Yep. Yeah, you guys have done a fantastic job of it. So outside of just sharing it, making sure we stay forefront, what other ways can I be helping you guys with it?
I think that both you and Nick know a lot of people doing those live events.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were trying to do some monthly things, and we were doing some monthly things before COVID. Okay, pre-COVID, it was, we're going to do monthly newsletter, a monthly video. We were trying to actually do weekly videos, monthly newsletters, and then try to get to events. So find out which events people would allow us to spread the word at.
Yeah.
So that obviously has been changed. We can't do the rock and rescues. We can't do, we were supposed to start doing rock and rescues. Our goal was to do 10 rock and rescues